All right, in that same division, the news today, out of the blue, was that the Carolina Panthers have given Cam Newton permission to seek a trade. Newton did not react well to that, taking to social media with the. I can't say I'm over the Cam Newton creative fonts. I never liked it. You're a grown man. You're not Prince, right? And it's every letter is some funky font where you need like a decoder ring to try. Take that down. I think if you look at it long enough, it turns you to stone. I don't know what it is, but the bottom line is he's not happy. We've had this translated by experts. He's not happy with the Panthers. He says he never asked for permission to seek a trade. Chris, all of a sudden, and we sensed this was coming. I never thought the Panthers were keeping this guy. It's time for new in Carolina, and there's too many issues with injury with Cam Newton. And it makes me wonder, frankly, what they take for him. I don't think they're going to take all that much for him. It's just a question now of who wants him. But he's out, and he's already replaced by Teddy Bridgewater, who reportedly is getting in the range of $20 million a year. That tells me that they're done with Cam Newton. It's just a question of how they go about dealing with the details on his way out the door.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I would really like to know what transpired and happened the last few weeks between the Panthers and Cam Newton. I do think it's very odd that this all comes out right now. You know, that to me is shocking because you've given Cam Newton really no chance now to really find a trade partner or his camp. Very tough. I mean, as we see, there's only a few spots left. So, and now that they've signed Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, they're not going to get very much for Cam Newton, especially knowing that, you know, he's probably going to want a new contract. So I'm thinking like you're going to see like mid-round pick for Cam Newton, something like that. I'm pissed at myself, Mike. I'm pissed because I should have been able to connect the dots to think Teddy Bridgewater would end up with the Carolina Panthers. It makes too much sense. You know, Matt Rule, he hired Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers. Where did he come from? The New Orleans Saints. I'm sure Joe Brady has gotten very good reports about what Teddy Bridgewater was and does down in New Orleans. Now you can get the Matt Rule era off on a good foot because you got a quarterback that knows the system. He'll be able to come in there seamlessly, wheel and deal, and it makes a lot of sense for the Carolina Panthers as they're trying to build a winner here into the future.
But see, I wonder how much candid information Sean Payton or anyone else with the Saints is going to give Joe Brady, because you don't want to have to deal with Teddy Bridgewater twice a year in your own division unless you know, based on being with him the past couple of years, how to go about defending him, what his weaknesses are. And, you know, this will be a great test. How much of it is the coaching staff in New Orleans that propped him up and got the most out of him, and can the Panthers do the same? But, you know, Chris, I'm playing this out in my head with Cam Newton. I think that they did what they did today by giving Newton permission to seek a trade because they knew they were going to sign Teddy Bridgewater, and it would be extremely awkward if they sign him to a deal that per year is worth more than what Newton's going to make this season based upon what I've heard so far, but I haven't seen the official numbers. Here's my guess. My guess is they've tried already to find a trade partner for Cam Newton, and they can't. And they tried to do it behind the scenes, and it didn't work. And now this is the first step toward just cutting him. And I have a feeling that's how it's going to play out. Depending upon what guidelines the NFL sends out on how you can do a physical for a guy before you sign off on a trade. And I'm not accepting a guy in trade. I'm not giving up anything of value unless my doctor can examine him, especially Cam Newton with the ankle and the foot and the shoulder. I'm not touching him, and I think he's just going to be cut. I think he's got permission to seek a trade, and once they do the deal with Teddy Bridgewater, once that is final, I think they're going to cut Cam Newton, unless they can give him away. But I don't think at this point anybody's going to take on that $19 million obligation if they can't poke and prod him to make sure he's healthy.
No, I think that's, you know, you're right. That's going to play a huge aspect in this whole thing. The medical evaluation right now is not where teams want it to be, certainly. So, yeah, it might be a little bit of a wait and see type signing here as we go forward. I don't know. You know, if it went down the way you're saying it went down, I'd be disappointed in Carolina that they weren't more upfront with Cam Newton, a little more transparent with him to know that, hey, we're going to move on, or we got other plans, or whatever it may be. They've put him in a tough spot here now for sure. And yeah, when you really look at it and go, okay, well, who out there is going to be in it. I mean, okay, we think Tom Brady's going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From everything I've been told, like I said earlier today, I don't think the Chargers have any interest in Cam Newton. Are the Chicago Bears going to get involved in this conversation with Cam Newton? I mean, he could fit in that scheme. He would fit there, definitely. So that's the one team I look at right now and go, maybe they'll try to make a play for Cam Newton, whether he's released or just try to trade a late round pick to say, hey, here, Carolina, we gave you something for Cam Newton, but we want him. We don't want him to hit the free agent market.
I still wonder about how that physical is going to play out. And I'm playing back in my mind what happened when we were in Indianapolis before you vomited into the trash can, because after that, it's all a blur. Before that, Matt Rule was making the rounds. We had him on Tuesday, and he was coming out very strong as wanting Cam Newton to be his quarterback. And I can't help but wonder whether that was the setup to make teams think that, hey, the ultimate trade leverage is screw it, we're keeping the guy. So they start selling this idea they want him, and they see whether or not anyone initiates any real discussions about a trade for Cam Newton, and it just didn't happen. And throw on top of it that video where Cam was upset, all I'm looking for is a commitment. I think that's when they just knew this is not going to work. We need to find somebody else. And on the day where they signed somebody else, or at least tentatively agreed to terms with somebody else, they had to make it clear that they're moving on from Cam Newton by way of giving him permission to seek a trade. And like he said, I didn't ask for this. This is their strategy for separating from Cam Newton. And I really do think unless somebody steps up with something, and I'm not sure anyone will, he is going to be released, and off we go with Cam Newton trying to find a new location. And he'll be in the same boat that Jadeveon Clowney's in. Who's going to commit to Cam Newton until they can have their doctors take a look at him? For free agents, it's a neutral, local doctor who's going to look at that player and perform the physical after the contract is agreed to. And I don't think anybody is going to make a major financial investment based upon that. They want their guys to see these players and make their decisions.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.